up? Let's see. Pimples. What's up, guys? I'll wait till everybody kind of gets in. I'm going to kind of go over some things that the gym walk around that makes the gym unique. The only thing, what's up, David? The only thing I'm missing right now is my belt squat. I sold it to a guy that didn't want to wait for fabrication, so I sold it to him, and I'm waiting for mine to pop back up before it comes back into the training, but definitely a needed piece. What's going on, Daniel? What's up, Coast Stacker 98? What's happening? Let's see. Happy New Year to you guys too. We've been doing a lot of different movements right now. I'm developing a third hypertrophy manual. The workouts are getting posted on Patreon, the ones we're doing right now. So you guys get the workouts that we do. We finished the week on Sunday, and you guys get those workouts posted. Drank a whole pot of coffee, catching up on family budget. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. Hope the kids had a good Christmas. Need to get over there and see you guys when I get a fucking schedule break. So you guys can go follow Daniel Wenning. That's my brother. He's a much better dude than I am. He likes taking care of kids and working normal jobs and doing normal shit that I would not have the patience for. Why'd you remove the Doctorate video? I posted a new one. Honestly, I just don't care about the negativity. Like, if you go look up EIU, you'll see that it's accredited in its own right. I went through the steps that it took to get the PD that was listed on their shit. It was quite a bit of classroom work, and the project I had to do, the book, was about 2 years of work. So as far as a research application degree, to me, it fits the standard, it fits the mold. There were obviously other ways I could have done it, but running a gym and running a business that's, upwards in 2022 of about $1 million gross income, and we're floating around 750 now in a bad economy. It's really difficult to go back to a traditional school system and get a doctorate, especially when you're not going to teach and you're not going to use it for research. So, it's one of those things where it looked really good. I think it still stands and holds some water, and it gave me more push to finish the book, which was a project. So, let's see. How much do you read every day? Well, I try to read at least an hour, but that breaks down to about 8 hours a week. I try to tell people to have like a 2-to-1 ratio from training to reading if you can. So if you train 4 days a week for an hour, which we do, I try to read about 8. But it also helps reading wise because I take a lot of the books that I'm reading and that I'm highlighting and I'm putting sticky notes in, and I'm publishing that on Patreon in order for people to see kind of where my training ideals come from. So I know a lot of you guys ask about dips, and I have a exercise physics book that shows the amount of force on the shoulder in the improper position when doing dips. And when I had read that, I had saw it and I was like, man, that's a good reason why I'm not a huge fan of dips. So I posted that this morning. There was also, due to leverage aspects, like on the bicep, why we don't do a lot of direct bicep work. And it kind of reinforces why. At the structure level, and I may not have the numbers exactly correct, but to curl like a 20-pound dumbbell at the tendon of the bicep, depending on where the range of motion is, can take upwards of 100 plus pounds of pressure on the actual muscle itself. And so I find that people that like to do bicep work tend to overtrain it, and then they get compensating the shoulder, and it causes a lot of problems. So there's a lot of reasons why we avoid a lot of different exercises on the Patreon and on the manuals. And so that book kind of reaffirmed a lot of that. And so I posted that this morning. So the paid memberships really keep me wanting to read as well, because I want to share information with people that are really trying to get better. And so we have 1,200 members on Patreon. It's taken me quite a few years to build that up. And it seems like the people that are there are really, really interested in what we got going on at the gym, what we're doing, what I'm studying. And so when I was going through the book and going through all of the doctoral processes for the PD, a lot of the reading references that I had to have in order to take the classes, I was posting the books online with some of the detailed sticky notes of areas that I was not only going to use for the book, but I was also having to study. So it was kind of like hitting multiple birds with one stone. And I just maintained that process. Although I was reading a lot in like 2010 to 2020, and maybe even before that, there was really no structure of why I was doing it other than to better myself. But then once you started to figure out that there were other people that may not have the time or energy to go and find which books to read and then read the whole book, to finding the excerpts of specialized areas, I thought was super important. So that's kind of why I do that. So, okay, we got enough people joined up. So I want to show you guys what I think is important at the gym and some specialized things that you might want to either save up for or get if you already have the money. So the first thing is competition bench. This is mine. We sell this on the website, but the next best one I've seen is Elite FTS makes one as well. We have a discount code on Patreon for Elite FTS. It doesn't involve equipment, because if anybody's in the manufacturing right now knows steel is crazy, but we have, band pegs that are totally adjustable depending on where you hand it out. It's got lettered J-hooks. And again, you don't need this fancy of a bench, but you need a competition bench that has spotters, band attachments. Those are very important, okay? The next thing that's important is looking at a squat rack, right? So looking at a squat rack, you want adjustments that are pretty reasonable. My favorite rack is probably Sorinex that I've seen. There's a lot of companies that make them now. And so I like weight storage on mine. I like J-hooks. Obviously, you got to have that. This one has a built-in pull-up bar. We did special graphics on the top, but I like a rack that's multifunctional. And so that's important. The next thing you don't see a lot of in normal gyms that should be done and correctly and have multiple heights for is boxes. So this is a 15-inch box. This is what we do a lot of our box squats on. Sometimes you can see over here, if I'm wanting to go right at parallel or maybe a tack high, I'll go that one or I'll go this one. But the trick with the box, and this is going to be a heavy bitch to flip over to show you, is when you build a box, build it that strong. You need it to be super strong. This box is probably 10 or 12 years old, and I've sat on that box with well over 1,200 pounds. It's like sitting on concrete. Another thing that you really want to have, if you can, is a really good lat pull-down machine. This one that Magnum sells, I think, is really good. It's got a good arc to it, and it seems to fit very well for different built athletes. So I'm 6'1". I got athletes in here that are, 5'2", and it seems to work really well. Another one you don't see a lot of is a reverse hyper. Reverse hypers are super important, not only for what they're intended for, but you can utilize it for reverse face pulls, tricep extensions, and rows. So it might take up a decent amount of space in a garage gym, but what it's really going to do is it's going to let you be able to pick a lot of exercises you can do with it. Dungeon Master, I would not do a leg day with a pull day. I don't know what that means, but I probably wouldn't add too many compound movements. A milkshake of bananas, peanut butter, and oatmeal to gain size. No, I think it's too much carbs. Gaining size is really important for a lot of people, and I get that, but don't fall into the same tricks that like my generation fell into, or like people like, that are, you're listening to Sam Solik or whatever. you got to be really careful and do it healthy, because gaining true muscle size is a lengthy process. The body doesn't really like to have a lot of muscle. And the reason is because it's expensive. I mean, if you think about it in a caloric expenditure, muscle is expensive. So overfeeding yourself beyond, say, 350 to 600 calories more per day is probably going to have an adverse effect on body fat more so than muscle size. So for me, if there's some things I had to do over again, I was a hard gainer. I lost, I weighed like 250 in high school, and it took me 4 years to weigh 280, trying to eat everything under the sun. And so that was difficult. And so I find that if you're trying to gain true quality mass, be careful with over inflammation and over body weight gain, because if your body's fighting your digestive system while putting on muscle mass, it's kind of counterproductive. So small increments of caloric intake are important. So another thing that you need is sleds, right? So sleds are going to be good for conditioning, rows, triceps, lots of different things, very important. Obviously, a cable crossover is super important. Cable resistance is much different than regular barbell resistance, other than the fact that, or because of, when I do this tricep push down with this, and say it's on 100 pounds right now, it will weigh 100 pounds from start to stop, versus a dumbbell is going to change depending on which way gravity is pulling on it. The production value of the qualities seem to be better. I was paying a shitload for media teams to do it. And the other thing too is that was before the Patreon channel got really big, and I started having people coming behind a paywall for me to put out quality information. And so what I started to realize is that if I put out too much free quality information, it was detrimental to not only my job, but a lot of people, if they don't have any skin in the game, they don't listen. And so that's why a lot of these channels you see that are growing or getting bigger are promoting free shit, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. So I always fight this battle of how much stuff should I give away for free versus how much stuff should I keep behind a paywall. And so, although, if I was in a different, monetary position, a lot of this stuff would be free, but it's just hard. I don't know, for a lot of people, working out for them is a hobby. And for me, it's my business and my profession. So it's a hard balance, I invite anybody that wants to come in here and train to come and train. We offer very reasonable rates, to be able to come in and do assessments or work out. And I feel it's some of the best information in the world. Just to mush if I train more than 4 to 5 days a week. Yeah, 3 is not bad. That's why I do the Patreon 3 days a week, because the guys that are on Patreon 3 days a week, they tend to have families and jobs, and all of them are getting better when we PR. So that's why I created the 3 times a week busy person Patreon, because I thought that it was a very helpful tool for a lot of people. What do you think are some of the most needed main lift movements for offensive linemen? Well, see, here's the problem. And I've said this a bunch, but the problem is it's not the sport that you need to be focused on, it's your weaknesses. So if you have a weak upper back, that's going to be a main problem that's going to need to be at least slightly focused on before you can make gains other places. Same thing with triceps, same thing with hamstrings, same thing with glutes. You got to think of things as the weakest chain. And what we want to do is we want to create a generally good athlete with hardly any or very little imbalances, and then specify. So offensive lineman doesn't give me a bunch of background on that, right? What do you think of 2 workouts, 2 main lifts in the arm and accessories? I don't know. It depends. When you're full-time working, it's hard to get a PhD. Sad that you have to have that to seem credible. Oh, yeah. It wasn't a credibility thing. It was more of a motivator to finish the book. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to take the classes. I wanted to see if there was anything I was missing, which wasn't a lot. I learned a little bit in the nutrition. I learned a lot in the clinical exercise area, because it's not my professional drive. You know, I do more gym stuff and college stuff. So for me, it was just a push to learn more shit. It wasn't credibility. It wasn't like I needed to, you know, it wasn't who I was, you know. Same thing with like the world records I had and all that stuff. It's like, it's stuff that I like to do, and it's stuff that I feel people should respect. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, did I do it the traditional way? No. Did I take the similar amount of classwork? Yeah. Did I do similar amount of projects? Yeah. Did I already have a master's degree where I did all of the schoolwork and all the classwork in person? Yeah. So for me, as a coach, the professional doctorate seemed, and I think still does seem, to have some relevance for what I do. Everything I look up on professional doctorate shows that it's following exactly what I did. So I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I've talked to a handful of people, and they're like, don't feel bad. You did the right thing. Or, some people say that, well, you're not a real doctor, blah, blah, blah. Well, I try to ask, like, what is a real doctor in exercise science? Like, I mean, come on. Like, does that mean Mike Israetel knows more than me? No. Does that mean that, like, other people like that? I'm not trying to run a university. I'm not trying to do anything like that. So for me, the PhD seemed a little extreme, and it wasn't worth me quitting work and then going and getting a PhD for a degree that I felt was, in my opinion, slightly useless in the field. So the professional doctorate looked very, very appealing based on the fact that it was for applied people, which is me. Big, strong dude for Sornex Bill. I don't know who that is. What's up, Knight? These videos are top tier, super informational. Yep, thanks. Oh, wow. Lost 11 pounds in 4 weeks, 4 miles an hour on the treadmill. Sounds like a little too much. I probably wouldn't do that. I probably would maybe a little bit slower. And then just watch your caloric intake, right? Yeah, if you can do something well, never do it for free. That's for sure. Yep, no problem with the response. Kane here. The new book, man, I turned that in for my final in 23, and Human Kinetics got it in maybe 2-3 weeks after that final edit. And so now it's going through their editing process. It'll be a hardback. I'll probably post all of the chapters that are in the book. I had that in the last video. There were some reasons I wanted to keep the video that I had on Bromley, and other reasons I wanted to take it down. I just didn't care about the fucking flack, and I know it'll go away and people will fucking stop talking about it, but it's just one of those things. I'm just like over it. Like, yeah, it's just like, imagine, you do a bunch of work and you're busting your ass and you're running all this shit, and you got some fucking nobody, trying to bust your fucking balls. And then after, at first you get defensive on it and you're mad. And then the second thing is like, why am I stressing over people that really don't support me anyway? Like, what does it matter? It's like, there's a lot of people that call themselves doctors that are not real medical doctors. And I'm okay with that as long as they wanted to do extra schooling, which I did. So whatever, you know what I mean? Any plans to make coffee mugs with mine? To be honest with you, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but it might be a decent deal. I wanted to do ones that were CNC stainless steel, kind of like Alico did, because I thought that was really cool, but fuck, they were expensive. I'm going to do a bench press seminar at the Arnold, so if you want to join that, let me know. I'll talk to my media guy, and I'll post that up probably this upcoming week, the dates. I'm probably going to let maybe 20 people. My gym is decent size, but I don't know if more than 20 would be good. So I'll let 20 people in. I'll make it reasonably affordable, and we'll go over. And I'm trying to make it more fun. Like, I actually want people to come in and learn something, but I actually want to max and then show them where their deficiencies are, and then show them what accessory work they'll need to do that, right? Don't bother explaining education. Yeah, thanks, man. No problem. I mean, I just, I like to be transparent. I'm a vegan, feminist, and trans right activist, and want YouTubers to join my Save Vegan Trans movement. I don't know if you're on the right page. I did intermittent fasting, push-ups every day. Yeah, but that's the problem, is it's super severe, Heathen X. I don't know if that's a great idea. Yeah, man, the book will be awesome. The most you ever did on barbell rows at my peak. Chest supported or just standing where I can get a little bit of like a Dorian Yates style cheat. I believe 495 is what I can remember doing for like sets of 5. We don't do trans rights and vegan shit here, so sorry later. Let's see. 300 kilogram deadlift, good for natural. Yeah, that's great. That's only slightly lower than I got natural. And I think anybody that can pull over 600, that's pretty damn good, especially if you're not built for it. So a 600-pound deadlift is really good if you are more of a better built to bench. If you're built to deadlift, it's decent. But some people just have extreme like shortness in certain areas and lengths in others that allow them to be able to deadlift really heavy. So it's not taken away from anything, but some people just have better leverages. Problem is excitement to pounce pissed me off, so I went in that video. Yeah, he's not gonna keep those comments, dude, you know? And I get it, like people disagree with me or act like an asshole on my page. I don't feel they have the right to be on my YouTube channel. Like if somebody wants to have a mild, chill discussion about what they disagree with or even the stuff that just came up in the last couple of days, I'm cool with that. You can disagree, but you come on and tell me, you know, I'm a fucking idiot or, you know, what I'm doing is dumb or this or that. I don't have any respect for you. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like to me, doing this kind of stuff, I don't need to do it. I do it because I want to grab a handful of you guys that I feel are important and want to learn what I'm trying to teach. Would you consider debating Bromley? Yeah, I would debate Bromley on the dynamic method. I've studied it a ton. I think it's an awesome way to train. I think there's a lot of things that are misunderstood about it. But I don't know that doing a live, you know, or doing a debate with Bromley is necessarily a good idea. If I were going to debate someone, I would want to debate someone that didn't just fucking trash talk me to his followers. You know what I mean? Like if he wanted some education from me or he wanted to learn something from me, you wouldn't act like that. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was just kind of bullshit. I didn't need that portion of my life. You know what I mean? Again, like, dude, crawl under the fucking weights that I've crawled under for 25 years at a professional level and then have something to speak on. Like, I've done the classwork. I've done the fucking shit. You know what I mean? I've done the masters. I've done the bachelors. I've lived the life. I don't understand. You know what I mean? It's just got to be, why is like trash talk so fucking popular? Is it because we don't have Jerry Springer anymore? It's like, dude, what the fuck? There's thousands of people that are not medical doctors calling themselves doctors, you know? Best testosterone booster. I don't know that there is a good booster. I think it depends on why your testosterone level is low. Low testosterone has multiple reasonings behind it, some of which include inflammation, some of which include low zinc, some of which include poor sleep. And a lot of these things can be naturally fixed. So personally, best testosterone booster is fix your health problem and whatever's causing your low T, right? Why conjugate is suboptimal? I mean, it's not suboptimal. Did you ever bench 611 meat max in training outside of a meet? I never went to full 1RM in the gym other than on specialty lifts. My best ever, probably, you know, including band tension and weight, my strongest, I did 475 on the bar with 200 pounds of band tension, and I got it. And it was a fucking monster. I think that if I would have just done a bench meet when that happened, I probably would have been around 633, maybe 640s. But I was always so fucking gassed after squatting because I was a world record squatter that 611 was all I could squeeze out after a big bench or a big squat. Yeah, chains are super important as well. Deadlift and squat was 565.90. That's pretty good. Thanks, Hard Knock Strength. Appreciate you. Is lifting heavy on biceps smart since biceps are... No, they're not. And again, if you go to Chop to Your Patreon and you read the physics book that I posted on exercise physics, there's actually an entire few paragraphs on the pressures on doing isolated bicep work, especially in such like a preacher curl and things of that nature. Your back is never that arched. You're just shooting for that tightness. Yeah, I was trying to show somebody that had horrible squat technique, and we were trying to work on it. And the whole point of that video with the squat was to show what some people show as sitting back is actually wrong. And what we were going to do with Harvey at the time was show improper technique and then let me train him for about 6 or 8 months and then show how it fixes itself. If you look at a lot of our squat videos, you know, on the YouTube lives that we post and things like that, nobody looks like that. Harvey had some really weird muscular imbalances, and I was playing around with trying to figure out how to fix him, and I had an idea on workouts and exercises, and he moved away. But my point being is, yeah, he got me. That video fucking sucked, and that guy is terrible at squats. But I was trying to show kind of a before and after was the whole gist of it, and it's never fruitioned. 250 squat, 250 kg squat, or 250 pounds. Is the time max effort method good for athletic training? For example, 12-second squat. Maybe. I mean, that's actually not a bad idea of using the time method, but I think you might be better off focusing on maximal strength and then doing things in like the hypertrophy range for that 12-second time. I know what I would probably do is if I was trying to do a 12-second maximum, I would probably follow along the lines of what Charlie Francis did, and I would do something like he had Ben Johnson squatting a double or a triple, like 2.5, 3 times body weight squat, and that increases squat tremendously. So that's huge too as well. Debating is going backwards. Are there tactical style workouts on Patreon? Trainer Roke is the one that has the tactical. We do have some elite tactical guys on Patreon following the workouts, and then they can contact me, and then I tell them what to do on top of that. Those that can't do criticize. Yeah, I know. Shitting on conjugate training in general, and basically everyone who came out of Westside, he took it down years ago because he got shit on it. Yeah, it happens. Can you work max effort and dynamic effort work? No, you cannot in the same day. Thoughts on the belt squat? I love it. I mean, the one I built is amazing, but it took me years to get the mechanics of it right. And also, it never breaks or wears out. PB bench, it's 365. That's pretty good. Prison food, yeah. Yeah, the strongest prison guy I remember is a guy named Greg Lowe. They called him the Beetle, and he totaled over 2,000, and he was locked in jail for life in PA. I don't know that they let him, or maybe he got older or whatever, but I know they used to let him out of jail to do meets every once in a while, at least. And that was a little bit before my time, but I remember people talking about him, saying how fucking strong he was. THC, CBDs for recovery, they can work. I've seen them do okay things, but I'm always weary about how much they might promote estrogenic side effects. Bromley had up called 8 West Side, and it was all about how too much variation and beginners should do 3 weeks. Yeah, it's not. Bromley and I don't agree on that. And again, Westside Barbell and Westside system was really developed off the Soviet and Bulgarian systems, which promoted the strongest teams and had the strongest teams in the world. And so for somebody of education level to attack something of like Louis' level is, again, like him attacking me, right? I don't coach Julius Maddox. We just talk a little bit here and there. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we bounce ideas off of each other every once in a while. We're good friends. Pool workout video. Yeah, man. To me, the pool work is very important for joint stability and things like that. So 250 kg squats, good for anybody, buddy. All right, so let's get back to the gym. So obviously a 45-degree back extension is crucial, and especially one that has at least a 4-foot platform. The one we sell is massive, but it's not too heavy. This one is really a back helper, developer without the compression. Any kind of a hamstring curl machine. So I have a lay down one at the gym, but I have a stand up one at the house. Another one that's very important is a GHR, not only because of glute ham raises, but also back extensions that are parallel to the floor as well as you can flip around and do them for tricep extensions and also flip around and do it for abs. Let's see, what else? Monolifts are optional, but very beneficial if you're trying to use bands, chains, boxes. The problem is you need a team to run them because when you set it up, you have to be able to rack it. But in my opinion, the monolift is the best way to squat. This one is pretty much immovable. It's fucking heavy. It was built probably 2009, and it's made with 1/4 inch steel, so it weighs upwards of around 1,200 pounds. Let's see. I honestly haven't seen on Joseph Tremello's 725 raw bench. Another thing you're going to need is an incline bench. You know, obviously flat benches. Decline bench is also really important. And hitting angles, I know people get in discussions and arguments about incline, decline, flat. Really, the trick is that there's no one that's better than the other. The worst one thing to do is do the same thing all the time. So you have to be careful that your shoulder and your elbows don't get the same pressure all the time at the same position and angles. So changing the body's position on different areas is a huge factor. Another thing is good is to have kettlebells. We got ones up to, I think those are 110s. Got the other one blocking the box. Dumbbells up to 150s, which are always nice. The 150s are tucked way back in there. So yeah, I mean, that's really what you're gonna need for a nice gym and something to, make progress. Obviously bands. We get all the bands from Elite FTS. I put a discount code on there on Patreon if you need them. These doubled over on the bench are about 200. These singled over on the squat are 150. These singled over on the squat are 200. These are monster minis. These are about 115 total on both sides. I need a gym in Dayton. Dude, I know, right? I know, man. Now, this is the Good Morning machine right here. So we build this. This thing's pretty fucking stout. What I like about my Good Morning machine is, one, it's a lot safer than doing normal Good Mornings because we have a spotter here. So we can set this at whatever height we want so that if we have to get out of it, it's pretty easy to do. We use elevator grade bearings with solid stainless steel. We can do isometrics. So this will limit how far it comes up. Sometimes we'll do 6-second holds, which if you read a lot of your high level books is important. This is all built with, as you can see, 1/4 inch steel, super stout, stainless. But yeah, Good Morning machines, in my opinion, are a little bit better than normal Good Mornings because it forces you to be a little bit stricter. Ropes are important for shoulders and triceps when applicable. So that's the gym. We can ship equipment to Australia. I've shipped the belt squat, but as you guys well know, shipping is just totally crazy. Super expensive right now. So we do shipping international. It's expensive as hell, I can tell you right up front, but we will ship stuff overseas for sure. All right, guys. Talk to you later. We'll probably go live and maybe shoot some of the stuff we're doing for the main lift today. If you can, go on Patreon, join that. If you got any questions on lifting or what you're doing is right or wrong or anything like that, that's where I do it. And see you guys later.